The battle over security at the U.S. southern border is heading to the courts. It began today when President Trump proclaimed a national emergency. He said that clears the way for spending $8 billion on a southern border wall, much of it taken from military accounts. Mr. Trump said the government funding measure that he signed today came up short.
I went through Congress. I made a deal. I got almost $1.4 billion when I wasn't supposed to get $1. Not $1. He's not going to get $1. Well, I got $1.4 billion, but I'm not happy with it.
Top Democrats in Washington denounced the president's move. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called it, quote, an unlawful declaration over a crisis that does not exist. The American Civil Liberties Union said that it will file suit, and several states said that they are likely to do the same. Our White House correspondent Yamiche Alcindor was in the Rose Garden for the announcement, and she joins me now. So, Yamiche, let's listen first to a little bit more of the president's explanation today.
I could do the wall over a longer period of time. I didn't need to do this, but I'd rather do it much faster. We had certain funds that are being used at the discretion of generals, at the discretion of the military. Some of them haven't been allocated yet, and some of the generals think that this is more important. I was speaking to a couple of them. They think this is far more important than what they were going to use it for. I said, what were you going to use it for? And I won't go into details, but didn't sound too important to me.
So, Yamiche, hearing that, where exactly is the president pulling this money from?
Well, the president is saying that I know best how to use these military funds to keep Americans safe. So I want to walk you through where he's getting the $8 billion that he's going to initially be using to fund a wall on the southern border. He's going to be getting $1.375 billion from the congressional deal that Congress passed this week to avert a government shutdown. He's going to be getting $600 million from the Department of Treasury Forfeiture Fund. That's money that it's gotten from seized and forfeited assets. He's also going to be getting $2.5 billion from the Department of Defense counter drug activities. That's drug seizer money. He's also going to be using $3.6 billion from military construction money, and that's defense fund money. That's also from the Department of Defense. And all of this is to fund an initial 234 miles of wall on the southern border. The White House stressed today that this is just the beginning. They could ask for more money. They also wanted to make it very clear that none of this money is coming from disaster relief funds. There was some worry that there were going to be hurricane funds taking from Puerto Rico or Texas. That's not happening.
This is so 234 up from the 55 that was in the language. So how does he justify this? What is his rationale for doing this?
Well, the president is saying that this is really something that needs to happen and that there is a crisis on the southern border and that he understands it more than anyone else. So I want to play some sound of what he says he's using as his sourcing for this.
It's all a big lie. It's a big con game. I get my numbers from a lot of sources, like Homeland Security, primarily. And the numbers that I have from Homeland Security are a disaster. And you know what else is a disaster? The numbers that come out of Homeland Security, Kirsten, for the cost that we spend and the money that we lose because of illegal immigration. Billions and billions of dollars a month.
Now, the president's own data, the president's own administration collects statistics on these things, and they contradict the president's claims. I want to walk you through two things that the president said, which we found to be false. The first is that the president said, take a look at our federal prison population. See how many of them, percentage-wise, are illegal aliens, just see. According to the Bureau of Prisons, as of January 26, 2019, 80% of federal inmates were U.S. citizens, 19% were other nationalities, about 12% were Mexicans, but that doesn't mean that they're undocumented. I want to walk you through another fact. The president said, we're declaring this, of course, being the national emergency, because of a virtual invasion purposes, drugs, traffickers, and gangs. The facts are, no data shows undocumented immigrants commit more crimes. A study by the Cato Institute, which is an organization based in Washington, D.C., found that U.S. citizens are convicted at almost double the rate of undocumented immigrants in Texas. That was a study done in 2015. And last, government data shows that the majority of drugs come through legal ports of entry. So the president here is making claims that just simply aren't true.
And finally, one other thing, Yamiche, the president was asked about how much he pays attention to is influenced by conservative news media. What did he say about that?
The president said that the conservative news media doesn't dictate White House policy, but he also very much praised a lot of people that are in the conservative media. Listen to what he had to say.
Sean Hannity has been a terrific supporter of what I do, not of me. If I changed my views, he wouldn't be with me. Rush Limbaugh, I think he's a great guy. And he's got an audience that's fantastic. Wait, they don't decide policy. In fact, if I went opposite, I mean, they have somebody, Ann Coulter. I don't know her. I hardly know her. I haven't spoken to her in way over a year. Laura's been great, Laura Ingraham. Tucker Carlson's been great.
Now, Ann Coulter said that the president shouldn't sign this deal, this congressional deal to avert a government shutdown. He did do that, so it's true that he didn't listen completely to what conservative media said. It's also important to note that the president said he's up for a legal challenge. Now, the House Judiciary Committee has already said it's launching an investigation into this, and Congress can either pass a resolution disapproving this or trying to stop a national emergency, or they can file a lawsuit, which is what you said the ACLU does. But the president said that he's ready to fight this all the way up to the Supreme Court, and he thinks he will win, Judy.
And it looks like he is getting a fight.
Yeah.
Yamiche Alcindor, thank you.
Thanks.